is because we brought the chief back. I'm explaining it to you like they explained it to us, okay? Because we have to catch up those minimum obligations while he was not here. I think we need to table it and have the guy come out, because I'm not finished, Paula. I'm talking to the president. I know what I'm talking about. I have dealt with this for the last 6 or 7 years. I do know what I'm talking about, Pat. You need to have people understand this fully. You gotta have people understand this fully. I don't care what.
Is there a second to that table?
I make a second.
Madam President, may I have a comment on that? Madam President, we'll be in violation and we will lose our state aid. Because this has to be passed by September 30th.
And you can have a special
by September
meeting.
30th. You're not going to be able to get them out here. Please don't interrupt me.
You interrupted me.
No, I did not. I raised my hand. Madam President, you recognize me. May I finish explaining this?
We don't even.
We have risen a distress level from number 2. We are now at number 3, which means our pension fund is not actuarially sound. That means all of the retired police officers that have worked here for many, many years, they are not going to be receiving their retirement if we don't catch up. Please let me finish.
I'm not going to let you.
The state gives us aid, and for the last 3 years, the state aid, the allocated state aid was not deposited. Pension contributions that were taken out of police officers' pays were not contributed to this fund. We must pay this. This doesn't say, wait a minute, let me finish. This doesn't say that we have to pay this. This says that you elect line 13 and we send this back and then we pay it when we have the money.
Pat, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Does everybody at the table understand fully the MMOs?
Has to be voted on tonight.
But does everybody understand them?
Yes, it does.
It does not.
Okay, ladies, can I? This is why you're in the trouble that you're in now. Because you keep tabling things. This is a routine ministerial thing.
Paul,
Can't be tabled tonight, I'm telling you right now. Can't table it.
I hope the
Can't table it. All you're doing is electing line 13, and I send the paper back. That's all you're doing.
I understand that.
Doesn't say we're paying.
Everybody
You
here
can change
does
it at
not
any point.
understand the MMO, okay? What I'm going to try to do, if we can't get someone out here before the 30th to help us understand this, we will meet the deadline, Paula. We do not need Mr. McBlain to come in on if we have to call a special meeting just to pass this. It will get passed by the 30th.
Madam President, it's very easy to explain. Mr. McBlain explained it, and I can explain it. A minimum municipal obligation is what the state takes taxpayers' money and pays the borough to fund the pension fund. The police officers take money and did not let me finish.
Everybody be quiet and let the solicitor explain it.
You have to take this. We have not paid it in 3 years.
The solicitor's name is John McBlain. That's the only one should be speaking on this issue.
John, can you explain?
Well, yes, as I said before, there are various, your pension plan, the actuary every year must calculate how much money needs to be in the pension plan in order to fully meet all the obligations of the plan into the future. There's various different pieces or pieces of revenue that go into it. The police officers that participate in it contribute 5% of their salaries towards that. There's investment income. Your pension plan is invested, so if stocks have a good year, you have investment income. The state does give you aid through different sources of revenue that it has to put into your pension plan.
But it's not enough to cover it.
And then if all those sources aren't enough to reach the number
Ms. Pray, can you stop interrupting, please?
if all those sources aren't enough to reach what the actuaries have calculated as, a fully funded pension, then the borough has to make up the difference. So some municipalities that are very well off and did very well with investments don't have to put anything in for a minimum municipal obligation. Some do. Yours, to tell you the truth, isn't, I mean, you don't have a large police force, but it's not that bad in terms of what you have to put in compared to other places. So, you know, that is what the minimum municipal obligation is. You have to close the gap of whatever the other sources of revenue don't put in. Now, it's correct, you do have to make a decision and you have to publicly announce what the MMO is by September the 30th. So, you know, you may do that tonight, you may have a special meeting in order to do that on or before September 30th. If you need additional information about, you know, a further explanation from somebody from Anderson's office about how your pension plan works, you know, where are the investments, you know, what gets contributed, how much is in each thing, you're certainly welcome, you know, to have them do that. I certainly would recommend, you have to decide whether you want to do it between now and September 30th, but you should, at least on an annual basis, you know, meet with your pension consultants to talk about that. So that's where, that's the decision you have tonight, and again, you have 3 options to pick from. I believe Ms. Brown has distributed out, you know, what those would be. If you look on that sheet, you basically, it's lines 10, 12, and 13 are the 3 numbers that you have to pick from. One's a high, one's a low, one's a medium. And it's, you know, again, to reiterate, it's just like paying your credit card payment. If you know, the high is like paying off the credit card every month. The low is like making your minimum payment on the credit card, and the medium is something in between.
Okay, my question is to Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, you got this for around August 15th?
Actually, I've had the budget prior to that, and I emailed it to everybody, and I put copies in everyone's folder way back, and whenever I did the budget, it was there. It was there.
I've never seen this.
My recommendation is this: that council pass this pending a written explanation from Thomas Anderson for each council member. Yeah, that's all I'm asking, because I think it's ridiculous that council reconvenes again. This is a simple, routine, administrative procedure. You're picking either the high, the middle, or the low figure. And they are recommending the high figure because we are so far behind. You know, to postpone this and call another meeting, and then if by chance they can't meet with us before September 30th, then you lose your state allocation. We're already on the brink.
We'll have a meeting before the 30th, one way or another, to pass.
This is ridiculous. No town does this. Pass it.
The person who
We owe the money.
It's not whether, it's not just passing.
Madam President,
This is ridiculous.
It's, you
Madam
gotta
President.
understand that, because there are some things that's working behind this, because it's different. We're only covering 2 people with these pensions that are active. The rest of the people are already retired. But the active people, there is something you need to know about this, and he needs to come out and explain it to you.
This is
And
crazy.
he will, because he's obligated
Don't
to
table
meet
this.
with
Don't
us.
table this.
And
This
all
is
I'm
crazy.
saying is, give yourself a chance and give everybody else that don't understand it a chance. The man is obligated to come out. You can bring NIR. He can come out and explain to you all of your, just like John said, their meetings. Matter of fact, they probably contacted, because they contact you every year before you have to pass your minimum obligation, to come out to present what has happened for the year. So we may not know it, but they have contacted us, and I know that because I've been part of this plan for a while. Tom Anderson has retired, but there is another man that he will gladly come out here anytime you want him to.
I'm sure he will, but this is simple, routine, ministerial.
Mayor Blue, you have a question?
what I don't understand, why do we have to, you know, go through all this? Why can't we just solve it tonight?
He can.
Here's what
Again.
Mr.
Why? You know,
we talking.
we talking about the funds now.
Motion okay? To pass it under
Hey, come on, man.
stipulation, and Mr. Anderson comes out here before the 30th, way before the 30th, as soon as he can get it, to explain everything to everybody.
Or how about if he can't, a letter of writing? A letter of explanation. I'm sure he can come out, but we can't guarantee. We don't know if he's on vacation or not. It's INR.
It doesn't matter. They're actually the people
I'll
that are
second that motion,
handling our
Madam
money.
President.
Well, if I can, Madam President, I think that, I think we're talking about a couple different things at the moment. If the guy comes out, he can explain your pension plan in full. That's, I mean, he's going to tell you the same thing I'm telling you about what the MMO is. So your decision that you have to make. You can spend hours with somebody talking about your
And
pension
you still
plan.
gotta make a decision.
Right, and let me just kind of give everybody, with the recommendation that came along with the cover letter, you know, with this from Anderson, they're going to come out and they're going to recommend to you that you do pick the highest amount. Because they have indicated that the contributions were not put in the past, for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, we
Yeah.
don't wanna hear, you know.
All right, so just to give you an idea what you're choosing between, because it's really not, it's a lot of money, but it's not.
Yeah.
The low, like for instance for the police plan, would be $78,000. The medium is $99,000, and the high is $109,000. So those are the three numbers that you're being asked to pick from. Your pension consultants are recommending to you that you pick the 109 one. Because basically, and what Ms. Pray said is correct, they're saying you've only been making the minimum payments. If you want to try to close this gap, we recommend that you pick the high one.
Increase the payment.
So
That's what you said at the beginning, so I
There you
think,
go.
tell that man, let's go pick the high one.
Can we afford the high one?
Patricia,
We're gonna cut
We don't have a choice.
Madam President,
We will be.
I can hear you.
Take a roll
I said,
call
can I say
vote,
something? please?
Sure.
I just
No,
want
no.
to speak.
Roll
ask
call
the
vote
lawyer.
on the motion.
Go ahead,
Go
Mike.
ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
asking, as just in case whosoever coming to explain this, don't come. What would be the consequence for the borough?
Well, you would, if you don't select your minimum municipal obligation and announce it this month, the state gives you money also on top of all this.
We could lose that.
You could lose that state aid. That's a possibility. You would, the auditor every 3 years does a audit of your pension plans, and the auditor, there could be a finding from the auditor, which is like a penalty from the auditor. So I certainly strongly recommend that you have to take some action by September the 30th. And keep in mind too, when we're talking about these amounts, this is not to be paid this year. These amounts would have to be paid into the pension fund by the end of next year, end of 2015. So I know we're in a critical budget period right now, but remember, you'll have the ability to plan for this and budget for whatever number you select in your 2015 budget.
I have a question. Did we pay what we voted on last year?
I don't know whether we've made the contribution this year or not.
You did not make a contribution last year. I deposited the state,
I didn't ask
I
you.
deposited
I said,
the
did
state
we make-
allocation.
We voted last year for 2014. Was 2014's paid this year? Because if it's not, you're not getting no state aid.
You have been audited, and it has been
I already
found in
know
the
about
audit
the
that
audit.
the funds were misappropriated and they were not deposited. That's what the audit says. Hasn't been
Motion
deposited.
on the floor, Madam President.
Wait a minute, Mr.
Any
McBlain is
more
talking.
questions? Go
It's
ahead.
2 motions on the floor,
ahead.
guys.
Yeah,
All
I think
right,
you're talking about
good,
two different
Blake,
things. What you, in September of 2013, presumably you designated an MMO.
Right.
That's due the end of this year, so it's
Right.
not due yet.
Correct.
Okay.
But if it's not paid by the 30th, we're not gonna get.
No, that's
No,
not, no. You have to just vote to submit this, certify this by the 30th.
But I sat through the audit, I know what I'm talking about. I'm tired of being told that I'm wrong when I'm the one that was only in there myself. So I know what I'm talking about. I know this pension back and forwards, because I'm telling you, you need somebody to come out here and explain this pension to everyone. because this pension is on the borough. The borough is carrying this pension.
This has nothing to do with that.
I'm not, yes it does.
Jeanette, that's what the motion entailed.
To table it, to bring.
Now,
What?
to pass the MMO under the stipulation that the investing people come out by September 30th.
Every time we
And
pass
explain
something,
it to everybody on council.
No, we're not doing a stipulation. If y'all want to do a
You can't
stipulation,
guarantee
that's on
that.
y'all. But every time y'all do a stipulation, y'all don't follow through on the stipulation. I don't really care.
All
You know what? This pension can break this borough.
All you're doing is voting to elect line 13.
You're not,
And
that's
pay
not
it.
all what
But
you're doing.
yes,
because-
it is.
No, it's
You can
not.
have the pension people
But you
come
wanna
out and
know
explain
something?
what a
If y'all
simple
wanna know
pension is
and y'all
at any
wanna sit there
time.
And not learn.
You need to do this by the
Do
30th.
whatever y'all want.
This is a
but don't
simple
laugh at me.
matter.
Argue.
It's not complicated.
And the knowledge.
Pay the
I have,
pension.
Whatever she's saying, I've been the chief executive on this.
Well, and you should not have been.
No, the president.
You had a, no, the borough manager
No, the
is.
borough
We know.
manager
That's
is
what
not.
Pensions, me and
No,
Freddie
the
were state
president.
employees.
And you acted as borough manager,
No, I did
unfortunately.
not ask that.
That's why we're in this
You know what?
mess.
I'm not-
No, we don't-
you know what?
we just-
All right, can we just vote on this here,
All right,
please?
let's bring the first motion that we got to vote on.
Okay, the first motion, it was tabled.
Okay,
Okay, that takes precedence over everything.
okay, so
So
we're
can
going
we
to
get a
vote.
roll call vote on the table? We got a second on the table.
Vote to table the motion, Mrs. Vanauken.
I second it, yes.
Mrs. Pray.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
No,
What was that?
no.
Mrs. Kamara.
No.
Mr. Brundage.
No.
Mr. Meuser.
No.
Mr. Lesher.
No.
Okay?
just wanna
Okay,
get
the
this
second
over.
on is on the motion, under the stipulation. Under the stipulation,
Which we're going to file through it.
and we're gonna follow through it.
Can the stipulation be either they explain it in writing or come out or set a date, because if they don't, if they can't come out by the 30th, they can give you something in writing.
It's going to be by the
All right.
30th.
That they can give you something in
It's going to
writing?
be by the 30th.
Let's do it by the 30th.
Yeah, get it over with.
Blow it out.
Blow it out.
Can you have, what you're voting for, the motion is to elect line 13. That's all the motion is.
We know.
They can come out and explain the pension at any time.
Yes.
So the motion would be to elect line 13.
Go ahead.
No, that's not what we're saying.
That's what the motion is.
Well, that's, we,
That's what you need to do.
why don't we clarify?
Clarify,
Paula,
poor guy.
council needs to make that decision, please.
Okay, can you read
What
the motion?
line we want to go with?
I think we ought to do what they recommended us for us to do, even though but we're going to try to find some of that money to pay the difference between the low and high, and I think we might be able to do that tonight. Right with the later on council vote, the difference between the low and high, if we cut the one salary that we agreed to cut, we'll be able to pay the